All right, so in helping just this particular problem on lesson 12.4, how many will ride the bus? Now, originally, X number of students were to go, and the total rental of the bus was $3,200. So what does it cost each person to ride the bus? Well, this is the number of people, and this was the cost. So it's going to be an average of 3,200 divided by X. Okay. Then 15 of the group decided not to go. So what would the average cost of that be? Well, the bus still costs $3,200, but now fewer people are going to be included in that average, and that would be X minus 15. So if we subtract this lesser cost from this greater cost, because now fewer are going, so each would have to pay more, the difference that each would have to pay would be $48 more. So there's our basic equation. Now again, the method to solve it would be get rid of these fractions and put this in standard form. So, as we said in Chapter 5, when you're dealing with fractions, you multiply each term, and there are 3 terms here, by the lowest common denominator, which is the combination of x and x minus 15. So what we're going to do is multiply each term by this. So when we multiply this term by this, the x minus 15s cancel out, and we're just left with x times 3,200. So 3,200x. Now, here the x is going to cancel out, and we're going to multiply what's in the parentheses here, each of these, by the 3,200. So x times a negative 3,200 is a negative 3,200x. Now here we have a negative 15 times a negative 3,200. So this is going to become a positive 48,000. So we've eliminated this x and just multiplied this by what was remaining. These 2 terms times this. Now here there is no denominator, except there's always a 1 underneath everything. And we want to multiply 48 now times the product of this. And I'll just do that. That's going to be x squared minus 15x. So now this is going to be 48x squared, and then a negative 15x times 48 is 720x. Okay, we're moving right along here. Now we need to collect like terms. And notice that these just cancel out. This, subtract that, they just are eliminated. And to put this in standard form, we're going to take this 48,000 over to this side, where it becomes a negative 48,000. Now on this side it's going to be 0, so let me just clean that up now a little. Now, it just so happens we can divide everything here by 48 to make it smaller. So this now becomes x squared, and 0 divided by anything other than 0 is 0. This becomes a negative 15x, and then this just becomes a negative 1000. Now, this will factor, but you can also put this in the quadratic formula, and our a is equal to 1, our b is equal to negative 15, and our c is equal to a negative 1000. And then we go x equals a negative b, so the opposite of a negative 15 gives you a positive 15. And we're only interested in the positive value, so the square root now of 15 squared minus 4. A, we said, was 1. B is a negative 1000. And this is all going to be divided by 2. 2 times 1, 2 times a is 2. Okay, let's put this in our calculator and see what comes out. Now, I put that in my calculator, and when I took the square root of what was under the radical sign, it was a perfect square, 65. Added it to 15 and got 80. 80 divided by 2 is 40. So x here is 40. But that was the number who originally were going to go on the trip. They want to know how many rode the bus. How many will ride the bus was the original question. So we have to subtract 15 that didn't go, and that number then is 25 rode the bus. Now, as I mentioned often, that if you had all this work done and you put 40 as the answer, you would get partial credit, but full credit for 25 answering the question that they're asking here. All right, this is a single topic, and we'll wrap this up here.